Hi, this is Joe Ziemba, the host of When Football Was Football here on the Sports History Network. Aside from my podcasting duties, I'm also a sports collector. And as such, I'm very pleased to share the exciting news that the Sports History Network has partnered with Rochester Sports Autographs, the largest JSA authenticated autograph distributor in the United States, where you can get deals on over 30,000 autograph sports collectibles. So as a collector, I was very pleased when I visited the site of Rochester Sports Autographs. The massive inventory is easy to search, carefully documented, and visually appealing. The options seem limitless, whether you're looking for an autographed baseball, signed football helmets, or basketball jerseys, among thousands of others. I found everything from a Babe Ruth autograph, a signed football by Dick Butkus, and an autographed Larry Bird basketball jersey. And as a collector, you'll be delighted with the very competitive pricing on JSA authenticated products. Made possible since RSA deals directly with athletes, so there's no extra markup, and the savings are passed on directly to the customer. Perhaps you're looking for an early gift for Mother's Day or Father's Day. Heck, who needs a holiday as an excuse to give a piece of sports history to your loved ones? Or how about yourself? Today seems like a great day to add to your own sports collection, right? RSA even has film, music, and other entertainment autographs on the site, so there's something for everyone. All orders from Rochester Sports Autographs are top quality and shipped to your door with top authentication and a money-back guarantee. And to make sure RSA knows that the Sports History Network sent you, we created a special link for you. All you need to do is head to shoprsa.com/SHN. That's shoprsa.com/SHN to get your own piece of sports history today.
Now it's time to take a sports break, a look at sports history on a daily basis. Hello, my friends of sports history. This is Darren Hayes of the Sports Jersey Dispatch podcast. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your place for all things great in sports history. And welcome to another edition of your sports break, as we will talk about some of the great events in sports history for May 17th in this edition. Can you believe we're halfway through May already and going down the other side? And we have some great history that we're going to talk about, some baseball, some football, some hockey, and going to have a lot of fun doing it here, remembering all these great legends and their great stories that they have set aside for us in sports history. But before we do, let's make sure you're aware of how to join our daily newsletter to get all this history early in the morning, first thing when you get up, delivered right to your email inbox, totally free. You can cancel at any time, really easy to sign up for. You go to the show notes of this podcast or the top of jerseydispatch.com or pigskindispatch.com. Let's start off on the ice, the hockey arenas around the country, and we have some great top history of hockey for May 17th. And we have a bunch of sites that we'd love to go and join. And every day, even if we don't have this podcast on, where we're telling on this day history, we have some great links on Jersey Dispatch and Pigskin Dispatch that every single day that the newsletter will tell you about. Or you can just go to the sites and go to those front pages, and they should be right there, just like a morning newspaper, and you get to look at all this history. And it's evergreen, and we have it rotating, and every day comes up with the daily events. And you can even look back a couple days prior too, or you go to the On This Day section, and you can look at any day you want. So some stuff for hockey for May 17th is, we have the NHL.com has shares that the Islanders had their fourth consecutive Stanley Cup win. Super Mario scored in a seventh straight game for the Penguins, and Ken Dryden became the first goalie to get an assist in a Stanley Cup playoff game. Now, on the Hooked on Hockey historic events of May 17th, the hookonhockey.com presents such things as Dino Ciccarelli setting an NHL playoff scoring record, Jaromir Jagr scoring a game winner for the third consecutive game, and so much more. Hookedonhockey.com is another great site that we love to go to. We also found a new one for this date. It's a Minnesota hockey history, and they have a lot of different things that happened in hockey history with people and teams associated with the state of Minnesota from May 17th. We have a great link there. You can go and check out their wares as well. And we go to our hockeyreference.com and NHL birthdays, all the current and former NHL players that were born on May 17th from hockeyreference.com. We have a shared link there to get you to them as well. Now let's change gears, and we're going to go to the realm of baseball. And we have a legendary Hall of Fame birthday today. Cool Papa Bell was born May 17th, 1903 in Starkville, Missouri. He's a Baseball Hall of Fame center fielder. His real name is James Thomas Bell. And Cool Papa played in the Negro League baseballs from 1922 through 1946 season. Is considered to have been one of the fastest men ever to play the game of baseball. And with the legend of his speed still remembered to this modern day, you knew he had to be fast. Now, his pro ball debut was with the St. Louis Stars of the Negro National League, the NNL, as a pitcher in 1922. And Bell earned his nickname in his first Negro League season, as he was referred to as Cool after strikeout standing player Oscar Charleston, and added Papa to the nickname because it sounded much better than just Cool Bell. Cool Papa Bell, that's got definitely a ring to it. He also played with the Detroit Wolves, the Kansas City Monarchs, Santo Domingo, the Homestead Grays, the Pittsburgh Crawfors, the Alejandros Tampico, the Alejandros de Union Laguna, and Rojos Aguila Veracruz. I'm sorry with the Spanish, it's not a very good accent. Sultans de Monterrey, Memphis Red Sox, the Chicago American Giants, and he ended his career there and was a Negro World Series champion in 1943 and 44, 8-time All-Star, and a lifelong batting average of .337, and was placed into the Washington Nationals Ring of Honor. Definitely one of the most historic baseball players around, no matter what league. Cool Papa Bell is remembered on this day, on his birthday. Now, there's so much more in Major League Baseball history, and we have some great sites that we'd love to go and listen to and read and check out. And we have the birthdays of baseball players. MLB.com salutes birthday boys of summer. Cool Papa Bell, they're talking about Carlos May, Carlos Pena, Billy Hoft, Hal Carlson, and so many more. Cool Papa Bell is the only Hall of Famer that's on that list for today. Also go to thisdayinbaseball.com, as there are so many great events. They're talking about when the Al Spalding's baseball became the official ball of Major League Baseball on this day in history. Billy Hamilton, Rube Waddell, Lawrence Vaughn, Rubio Durazo, Bob McGrath, and so many more. Thisdayinbaseball.com. We have a link to get you to that as well. We also go to our friend Jay Daniels' great website, 1980sbaseball.com. He fires you all the way back in the Wayback Machine to over 40 years ago and sends us the news of May 17th, including names like Porfirio Amorato, Pascual Perez, Greg Matthews, Tom Newell, Rob Nelson, Randy Bass, Orestes Destrade, Reggie Ritter, Rocky Childress, Tom Dozier, and so many more. Make sure you check that out. 1980sbaseball.com with Jay Daniel, our buddy that wrote that great book, Suds series. And now let's go into some of the uniform numbers today from jerseydispatch.com, and we love to salute those numbers. And how about May 17, 1925, Cleveland Indians center fielder Tris Speaker reached his 3,000th hit in his Major League Baseball career. In 1914, Speaker won the American League batting title with 193 hits, a .338 batting average, and boy, was he a good player, and definitely that's why he's a Hall of Famer. On May 17th, 1970, Braves legend number 44, Hank Aaron, another great player, reached his 3,000 hit plateau for his Major League Baseball career. At the end of a quite illustrious career, Hammerin' Hank had amassed 3,771 hits in his career. Great ball player. May 17, 1984, and it doesn't occur very often, but Cincinnati Reds ace pitcher Mario Soto, number 36, threw 4 strikeouts in 1 inning. That's something to check out and read up on. And we have it covered on jerseydispatch.com for the May 17th in sports. Now let's jump over to the football side, jerseydispatch.com. We have some big events that happened. May 17, 1969, we had a newspapers.com headline of the day, and they gave out the 1969-70 NFL schedule, and it declared that the Baltimore Colts, Cleveland Browns, and the Pittsburgh Steelers all agreed to go from the National Football League and join the 10 AFL franchises in the new American Football Conference, and the NFL as part of the merger of the two rival leagues. This balanced out the conferences. They created the American Conference and National Conference. The Browns, the Colts, the Steelers were taken over there just to balance out, so both conferences had the same amount of teams, and now we don't know it any better than we had back then, but I'm sure it was probably a big deal back then, having them defect to and going over to the AFL teams. Now, some great birthdays for this May 17th of Hall of Fame football players. 1912, Portsmouth, Virginia. Clarence Ace Parker, Duke University's quarterback halfback from 1934 to 1936, was born. He was one of the most versatile stars ever to set foot on a college gridiron. He played quarterback, halfback, wide receiver, punter, kicker, safety, and was also returning kicks and punts. And his athletic prowess extended to Blue Devil baseball and basketball teams as well. And he played under the Hall of Fame coach Wallace Wade, as Ace led the Blue Devils football team to a 24-5 record and 2 Southern Conference championships during his career. In 1935, he averaged 7.4 yards per rush, while punting for an average of 46.7 yards. That's some great numbers. And during the 1936 All-American season, he averaged 5.8 yards for a total of 647 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns. He was an early superstar and really made some splash plays, which included when he posted a 70-yard punt return against North Carolina State. So he would punt the ball distant for his team, return it a long distance against the other team. That's a pretty good deal there. He ended up going into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1955, and he went into become a professional athlete in 2 different sports. He played 94 games as a shortstop for the Philadelphia Athletics, 1937, 1938, and he was a second-round pick in the 1937 NFL Draft, and he ended up playing with the Brooklyn Dodgers from 1937 to 1941, earning league MVP honors in 1940 and taking part in the first ever televised football game in 1939. He was all NFL in 1938 through 1940, served his country in World War II, which interrupted his pro career, but in 1945 he returned for one final NFL season with the Boston Yanks. Now, he was memorialized in the Pro Football Hall of Fame when they enshrined him in 1972, and boy, what a great player he was. We talk a lot about him with our friend Larry Schmidt on our jersey number 7s on pigskindispatch.com, so make sure you check that out. So that's our history of sports for May 17th. We are so glad that you were able to join us today. We hope you join us each and every time we have a new podcast coming out, which is usually 5 to 7 times per week. And like we said, days we don't have a podcast out, check that YouTube channel. Or better yet, go to jerseydispatch.com or pigskindispatch.com or get our newsletter, because we always have something coming out. You're going to have news every single day, and a lot of it in sports history. So until next time, everybody, have a great sports history day. This penalty kill is almost over. I got to get back out on the ice. But thanks again for joining us for another great edition of Sports Jersey Dispatch Podcast. We'll see you tomorrow. We invite you to check out our websites, jerseydispatch.com and pigskindispatch.com. Not only see the daily sports history, but to experience the preservation of great events and people that play the games. Find us on Pigskin Dispatch. It's also on social media outlets of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel. You get all your daily sports history. Pigskin Dispatch is happy to be associated with the Sports History Network, the sports headquarters of yesteryear, found at sportshistorynetwork.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hi, this is Joe Ziemba, the host of When Football Was Football, here on the Sports History Network. I'm very pleased to announce that I will be partnering with the Sports History Network to give away 2 copies of my latest book called Bears vs. Cardinals, the NFL's Oldest Rivalry. To enter, just head over to the following link, sportshistorynetwork.com/giveaways. We hope you'll enjoy the numerous stories in the book, which is largely based on the newly released Dutch Tournament collection at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Dutch was the co-owner of the early Chicago Bears with George Halas and kept correspondence, financial records, and scouting reports, which now allow us to peek into the management of an NFL club during the first few years of the league's existence. Along the way, we'll meet unusual gridiron characters from years gone by, including a quarterback who could throw the ball farther behind his back than he could throwing it forward, a Bears lineman who was such a good tavern fighter that he decided to enter the boxing universe, and a Cardinals halfback who gave up the NFL rushing title by deciding to not show up for his team's final game of the season. And can we forget the time the Al Capone mob interrupted a Bears-Cardinals game? The new book was fun to research, and I hope you will enter our free contest today. Once the winners are selected, we'll be in touch regarding shipping as well as to inscribe the book personally for you. This might make a perfect gift for Mother's or Father's Day, or simply add it to your own personal collection. Once again, enter by visiting sportshistorynetwork.com/giveaways. Thank you and good luck.